The Black Death, a bubonic plague pandemic, remains a harrowing chapter in human history. Originating in Central Asia, it travelled along trade routes, reaching Europe by 1347. Carried by fleas on rodents, the plague spread rapidly through unsanitary medieval cities. Symptoms were gruesome and swift. Infected individuals suffered from painful, swollen lymph nodes, fever, chills, and vomiting. Darkened, bleeding skin signaled near certain death. The plague's arrival in Europe was swift and brutal. Italian port cities were among the first affected, their bustling commerce turning into channels for the disease. From there, it spread relentlessly across the continent. The Black Death's impact was immediate and devastating. Entire communities were decimated as the plague tore through cities and villages. Conservative estimates suggest 1/3 of Europe's population perished within a few short years. The sheer scale of death was difficult to comprehend. Mass graves became commonplace as existing burial practices proved wholly inadequate. Fear and panic gripped the populace as the invisible enemy claimed victims indiscriminately. Religious explanations abounded, with many believing the plague to be divine punishment for their sins. People turned to prayer, penance, and pilgrimages in a desperate search for salvation. The Black Death's impact transcended mere mortality figures. It profoundly reshaped European society, leaving an indelible mark on its economy, culture, and psyche. The established order, already strained, faced unprecedented challenges. Labour shortages crippled agriculture and industry. The feudal system, reliant on peasant labour, began to unravel as the workforce dwindled. Landowners struggled to maintain production and control over their estates. The sudden loss of skilled artisans and craftsmen disrupted trade and commerce. Guilds, once powerful institutions, struggled to maintain their hierarchies and traditions. Faced with the relentless advance of the plague, medieval authorities implemented various measures to control its spread. Quarantine, a practice already familiar from leprosy outbreaks, was widely enforced, isolating the sick and potentially infected. Some turned to more extreme and often misguided practices. Flagellants, groups of religious zealots, roamed the countryside, whipping themselves in public as penance for collective sins. Others blamed marginalized groups, such as Jews, for poisoning wells and spreading the disease. These accusations, fueled by fear and prejudice, led to persecution and violence. Section 5. Shifting demographics. The Black Death's demographic impact was profound and long-lasting. Europe's population took centuries to recover from the devastating losses. Entire generations were lost, leaving a void in families and communities. The plague's impact on population distribution was uneven. Rural areas, less densely populated, fared slightly better than crowded cities. However, no region escaped the plague's reach entirely. The loss of life created labour shortages, shifting the balance of power between landowners and peasants. With fewer workers available, those who survived could demand higher wages and better conditions. Section 6. Social upheaval. The Black Death's aftermath witnessed significant social upheaval, altering the very fabric of medieval society. The previously rigid social hierarchy began to crumble as traditional bonds of obligation weakened, leading to widespread unrest. Peasants, empowered by their newfound leverage, challenged the feudal system, demanding better conditions and more rights. The Peasants' Revolt of 1381 in England, though not directly caused by the Black Death, was fueled by the social and economic tensions it exacerbated, highlighting the growing discontent among the lower classes. Peasants demanded an end to serfdom and fairer treatment, seeking justice and equality in a time of great turmoil. The Church, once a dominant force, faced criticism and questioning from all corners of society. Its inability to prevent or halt the plague shook people's faith and led some to seek spiritual solace elsewhere, causing a shift in religious beliefs and practices. Section 7. Echoes of the Plague. The Black Death's impact extended beyond immediate devastation, leaving a profound and lasting mark on the fabric of society. It cast a long shadow over Europe, influencing art, literature, and religious practices for centuries to come, shaping the cultural landscape in ways that are still evident today. The danse macabre, or dance of death, became a common motif in art, reflecting the plague's indiscriminate nature and the universal fear of death that it instilled in people of all walks of life. Literature grappled with the themes of mortality, loss, and the fragility of life. Giovanni Boccaccio's Decameron, a collection of novellas, vividly portrays the human condition during the plague, and Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, with its diverse cast of characters, offers glimpses into the plague's social and psychological impact, revealing how different strata of society coped with the crisis. These works provide invaluable insights into the era, showing how communities were affected and how they sought to rebuild their lives amidst the chaos. The trauma of the Black Death led to increased religious fervour in some quarters, with many turning to the Church for answers and solace. Others, disillusioned by the Church's response, sought solace in mysticism or questioned traditional doctrines, leading to a period of intense spiritual and philosophical exploration. Section 8. A catalyst for change. While undeniably a catastrophe, the Black Death also acted as a catalyst for change in medieval Europe. The labour shortages it created contributed to the decline of feudalism and the rise of a more market-oriented economy. The need for skilled workers spurred innovation and technological advancements. New agricultural practices and labour-saving devices emerged in response to the depleted workforce. The Black Death also had a lasting impact on medical practices. While medieval medicine had limited success in treating the plague, it prompted greater interest in understanding disease transmission and prevention. Section 9. Legacy of the Black Death. The Black Death remains a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability to infectious diseases. This catastrophic event, which swept through Europe in the 14th century, decimated populations and left entire communities in ruins. Its legacy is etched in history, shaping the demographic, social, and economic landscape of medieval Europe. The sudden and massive loss of life led to labour shortages, which in turn disrupted the feudal system that had dominated for centuries. While the plague brought unimaginable suffering, it also forced profound changes that ultimately contributed to the decline of feudalism and the emergence of a new era. The scarcity of workers meant that surviving peasants could demand better wages and living conditions, gradually shifting the balance of power. The Black Death's impact serves as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and its capacity for adaptation in the face of adversity. Communities had to rebuild from the ground up, fostering a sense of unity and collective effort. The Black Death's lessons remain relevant today, reminding us of the importance of public health measures, social equity, and scientific understanding in navigating global challenges. It underscores the need for preparedness and the value of learning from history to better face future pandemics.